Okay, this is the lesson for absolute value equations. It's lesson 1.7. So you should put this in your notes. And if you don't have your notes out, go ahead and take those out. Alright, so first we're going to talk about absolute value. If I have the absolute value of x, absolute value actually means distance. So it's the distance from the origin, or the distance from 0. So when you think of absolute value, you probably think absolute value means that it's going to be a positive answer, but the reason we make it positive is because distance is measured in positive numbers. So for example, if I had the absolute value of x equals 7, what this means is that the distance equals 7. If that distance is to the left, it could be -7, because that just means it's left 7 places. If the distance is to the right, that's +7. So we actually have two solutions as far as if absolute value of x equals 7, that means the x itself could be +7 or the x itself could be -7. Okay? Now the reason that's important is because when we solve absolute value equations, we're expecting to have the same amount of solutions as we had when we did absolute value of x equals 7. So this one is slightly different. We have the absolute value of x minus 5 equals 7. So we're saying this part right here, this distance, is 7. So the way we measure it is by saying x minus 5 could be +7, or x minus 5 could be -7, because that distance could be to the right or that distance could be to the left. So what we do is we set up both equations, and we're going to solve both equations, and so we're going to have two solutions. So on this left side over here, I'm going to say +5 and +5, so x equals 12. That's one solution. On the other side, I'm going to do +5 and +5, and I get x equals -7 plus 5, which is actually -2. So I have two solutions for each absolute value equation. Alright, let's try another one. In this problem, we're saying that the distance, 5x minus 10, could be 45 or it could be -45. So write my two equations. 5x minus 10 could equal 45. 5x minus 10 could equal -45. So solving each equation, on the left side I say +10 and +10, so 5x equals 55. And then I want x to be by itself, so I divide by 5. And so one of my solutions is x equals 11. Then I'm going to solve the other side, so I have +10 and +10. This time I get 5x equals -35. And when I divide by 5 this time to get x by itself, my x is going to be -7. So if x were 11 or if x were -7, either way, both of those would be correct if we plugged them into the equation. Okay, so sometimes it doesn't work out quite so well, and we have what's called an extraneous solution. An extraneous solution is basically an extra solution that is wrong. Now you're probably not going to know until you get to the end of the problem, so we're just going to work it like normal, and then we're going to see what our extraneous solution might be. So take 2x plus 12. 2x plus 12 could be positive 4x, or 2x plus 12 could be negative 4x. Okay, so this is slightly different because now we have variables on both sides. So for the left-hand side, I'm going to subtract 2x. And that gives me 12 equals 2x. And then I divide by 2, divide by 2. And I get x equals 6. So that's the first solution. Then on the other side, I'm going to do the same process. I'm going to subtract the 2x, and I'm going to subtract the 2x. So I have 12 equals negative 6x. Then when I divide by negative 6 to get x by itself, the x is going to be negative 2. Okay, so I know one of these solutions is extraneous because that's why I picked this problem. How do we know if it's extraneous? Well, you have to go and plug it back in. If I were to plug 6 in, let's do a different color. If I were to plug 6 in up here for my x, and 6 in up here for this x, I would have 2 times 6 is 12, plus 12 is 24. The absolute value of 24 is 24, so this would be 24 equals, and on this side, if I'd plugged in 6 for x, 4 times 6 is 24. So that one's fine, no problem, it worked. So that probably means the other one's going to be extraneous. If we do plug in negative 2, what's going to happen? Okay, so let me erase the 6. This time I'm going to plug in negative 2. So I would have 2 times negative 2, and over here I would have 4 times negative 2. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4, plus 12 is 8. On the right side, 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. 8 and negative 8 are not the same answer. So down here, this was extraneous. So we're going to mark it off. I will tell you, that does not happen very often, but you got to be ready for it when it does happen. Okay, here's the problem that you're going to do on your own. Make sure you write it down and work it for me to check. I'll check it in class either tomorrow or today. And then this is the last little thing I have to say. Remember that it's okay to make mistakes. Okay?